What are the things nobody taught you about sex when you were in high school but should definitely be taught? Go pee after sex. Each and every time. Vitally important for women. Foreplay makes all the difference. Don't rush that it if you care about your partner climaxing. And don't let porn vids be your guide. Ask your partner what they like and do that thing. Tell your partner what you like. Communication is key for good sex. Why make me pick the lock when I can just ask for the combination? Most women don't want to get jackhammered and spit on like those dudes do in porn. Before you text or call your ex, rub one out and then rethink. If you're too uncomfortable to ask him to wear a condom or have a conversation about birth control, then you're not ready to have sex with this person. I knew some girls in high school who got pregnant because they didn't want to seem uncool to talk about it or they were too shy to speak up before having sex. Discussing what you enjoy and what you don't with your partner isn't awkward or weird. Also, you may not be compatible sexually with everyone and that's okay. Pussy farts happen. Do not be alarmed. It's way messier than portrayed on TV. Only lick a pussy you know. Cuddling after orgasm makes people develop feelings. Use that as you may. People's bad hygiene or steez can leave a reckoning on your body. Oh yeah. Clothed sex. With a suspect one-nighter could save your skin flora from being messed with. Condoms do take away the tip of sensations. But it is worth it. Moments of bliss for a lifetime of it life isn't worth it. Talking about what you each want is very well received. Try your partner's kinky it if it isn't hurting anyone. Help them have the best experience and guide them to help you have yours. It can be fun and great, but it is best when safe. Went to a Catholic school and we never got any sex education. I never knew about female orgasm with my first boyfriend, together for more than a year. When I had my very first one with my next boyfriend, I thought I had a heart attack that I actually wanted him to call an ambulance. Edit. Punctuation. OMG, thanks for the silver kind stranger. I didn't expect I'll get this many upvotes for telling the story of my first orgasm lol. For those asking, yes, I stuck with this guy for 5 years because the sex was intense. He was a real pleaser and a giver. Lesson for you guys. We eventually split up cause, well, sex isn't everything. But he left me with new knowledge and skills I could use with my next partner. So you can say experience is really the best sex ed out there. They never taught us to pee after sex. Although, I always heard and read that you should, but for some reason I didn't think that you had to immediately pee after the sex sesh. Well, I've sure learned my lesson. I ended up getting a UT for the first time but I didn't even know because it was asymptomatic. No pain. Just thought I was dehydrated because I wasn't passing much. Halfway through my night shift at work one night I went to the bathroom and immediately recognized something was wrong and I started getting pain on my right side. Ended up leaving work and drove myself to hospital at around 10 PM. Admitted myself. Got tested and yep, I had a kidney infection. They pumped me full of hardcore antibiotics and hooked me up to fluids. Stayed there for a good few hours. Went home and the next day started an antibiotic course for about 2 weeks. Was definitely a little scared. TLDR. Wasn't taught to pee immediately after sex. Got an asymptomatic UT and ended up with a kidney infection. That the way people have sex in porn is usually not normal, not enjoyable and not going to get any woman to orgasm. Too many men out there think doing 20 positions for 20 seconds each is great sex. Beyond the stuff listed here, the UTs, STDs, foreplay. How about some things for the guys new to the game about to dive into the fun? 1. Nobody will ever make fun of you or think anything but good for them when you buy condoms. Condoms are cheaper than diapers. Steak dinners are cheaper than kids. Experiment by yourself with the types. Some types, they get warm on my cock. They pull so tight they kill my boner or cut off circulation. I have my personal favorite I know to get because they work perfectly for me. Give me great sensation through the condom. And don't act like a rubber band that you use to get bored and wrap around your finger 20 times in class. 2. While you're experimenting at home seeing which condom feels best for you, learn how to put one on easily. You weren't born knowing how to throw a football or dribble a basketball. Took an afternoon to learn. Same thing with ripping open a condom wrapper in the moment and sliding it on while you're still lip locked with a girl. Pinch the tip, roll it down, give it a warming stroke or 3. You think I'm joking about the warming? Room temperature condoms are pretty cold at first grab, but it warms up fast. Close bracket. 3. Trim your nails. Give them a once over with the file on the nail clippers too. Freshly trimmed nails with that sharp edge are even worse than a slightly long nail. Those little areas to the side of the nail, where the skin hardens up, give those a buff too. While you're buying condoms, buy an emery board from over in the makeup depth. Nothing kills the mood more than your girl saying stop, because you're dragging a cheese grater inside her most sensitive flesh. 4. Pay attention. Seriously, this will get you everywhere, over and over. Instead of just going sweet tits and grabbing her nipples while thinking to yourself about them, or what you're going to do with them, pay attention to how she reacts when you do grab, squeeze, stroke, pull, whatever. You'll run into the entire spectrum, from girls who don't get any real arousal going from someone playing with their tits, all the way to girls who can literally orgasm from someone working with their nipples. But you'll never know if you don't pay attention. 5. Edited to add in the most important one. Don't try to duck like a porno. I once heard Ron Jeremy long ago say in an interview, if it looks good, it feels like it to us doing it. When it feels good, it looks like it on a camera. I then stopped trying to get the camera angle doggy bullet and go with whatever got us both going. Yeah, you're never going to film 6 that feels good. This why the amateur category on porn sites looks like 2 people in a sleeping bag when a couple decides to put a camera on a tripod and film themselves. They are having a damn good time. Feeling damn good. And it looks like it from across the room. This also goes for oral. Don't try to jackhammer duck her. Grab her head. Hold her down on your D. Any of that it. Hold her hair back for her. And don't push her around. She'll let you know if she wants your hands pushing on her head. Trust me. Some STIs, herpes and some HPV strains can be transmitted through skin-to-skin contact even if you use a condom. These STIs are very common and aren't tested for by doctors unless you specifically ask. First time? Finger her to get her wet and feel where you're gonna put it. Don't be me who had her on all fours and just started thrusting randomly at her crotch. Biggest lie I was told in 6th ed was that I was gonna have 6 one day. Foreplay is important, particularly on the woman's part, as I was not aware being wet was important. The girl I was with at the time didn't know either, and our first time doing it sucked. Advice on how to please each other. I don't mean telling 12-year-olds about where a woman's clit is and why it's important, but ages like 15 plus etc. By that age kids are jacking off and cleaning up with a cum sock so hard that the military are considering using it as body armor. Every boy at that age watches porn all the time. They know what sex is and how intercourse goes but still don't know anything about actually having sex. The picture of sex to them is that the guy ducks a girl's brains out, comes on her face and then leaves. Real sex is nothing like that. Most guys don't really know about how to please a woman when they first start having sex and are just eager to go riding right away. But in reality you have to take your time working up to sex. You can't just go at it right away. I remember being taught about sex at school, but it was just stuff like this is a condom. Wear it. You'll be nervous your first time. Good luck sport. There's not really much practical knowledge being shared. Again, this stuff shouldn't be taught to younger kids, but the older ones you're already thinking about and perhaps even having sex already. My high school had a great sex education class when I was a sophomore. They taught it all including abstinence. Only one person, a Jehovah's Witness, did not take the class. Out of 625 sophomores, no pregnancies in the 3 years of high school. The class also covered drugs and alcohol usage and pitfalls in class. First class without a drug or alcohol death. More than what are things nobody taught you about sex when you were in high school. All of it. Mississippi gang o tilde u diaresis. O grave a diaresis a ring. Ejaculation. Telling us that the D goes in V and sperm comes out isn't enough. For years I thought there was a constant piss stream of sperm when you entered. Miscarriages are way more common than most think. Also, what an ectopic pregnancy is. Pee after 6. It's okay to need lube. What vaginismus is. Spelling. In my school, they taught that condoms don't prevent STDs at all, which is a lie. How common STDs are and combating the stigmatism about them, as well as the fact that a girl's labia has no bearing on her sexual history. No means no, but not saying no doesn't mean yes by default. Literally everything. They never taught us about actual sex. Sex ed was basically puberty ed with a dash of always wear a condom or you'll catch all these STDs, get pregnant, and die. Never once did they explain what a condom was or how it was used. I had to Google to find out that the D actually goes inside the V. Literally everything. I went to a Catholic school and the first time I had sex I didn't even really know there was supposed to be thrusting. I actually envisioned sex just as a guy lying on top of a girl with his D in her. A lot of pop culture references to sex made so much more sense to me after I lost my virginity. Specifically, I remember this one scene in The Frighteners where this ghost gets in a woman's coffin and starts vigorously humping. It was supposed to be comedic, but I was always just like, why the F is he doing that? Now I know. It was a while ago for me. That condoms can break. How to tell when a woman is physically ready for intercourse. When is someone legally unable to give consent? What is sufficient consent to have penetrative sex? How does a woman's menstrual cycle work? What should you do if you are scared you might be pregnant? Veal fluid works as anal lube in a pinch. Don't just pull down a guy's foreskin. Be careful. Better safe than tearing his D skin. There's more than one way to stimulate your lady bean. One way doesn't necessarily work for everyone. Very few women actually climax from insertion alone. You're not weird if his D touching you or just sliding around doesn't do it for you. Let alone make you writhe in ecstasy. That's porn and hentai stuff. You do not owe sex to anybody for any reason. Ever. Does not matter if they bought you dinner, held the door, kissed you, drove you home, came to visit you, etc. Not wanting to have sex because you don't want to is 100% a valid reason. If they take issue, take your leave. Explore everything you are comfortable exploring and do so with people you trust with that particular activity. For example, I'd try mild bondage with somebody I trust. I'd try edging with anyone who's game to try it with me. I would not try sadomasochism with anybody no matter how I trusted or knew them. Sex should be pleasurable for both parties. If it hurts, stop. If she says it hurts, ducking, stop even if she tells you it's okay. Sexual relations with same-sex partners. There probably isn't a bigger disservice to LGBT youth than neglecting to teach them literally anything about it. Please tell me things have changed, but when I was going through school, late 90s, early noughties, there wasn't so much as a mention that gay people have sex. Boys should clean their junk before doing the dirty. It's so easy to catch and steal just by not being hygienic. Your hymen doesn't break, it just stretches out. But even if you are relaxed and use enough lube, not only the first time, but the first couple of times can be painful. And as for the bleeding, not everyone bleeds. So it's not a way of truly telling if someone's a virgin or not. And finally, to boys who brag about having big D's, these aren't bottomless holes. You'll most likely not be able to stick it fully in. Where TF to get free BC without parents knowing. Sometimes when you have anal sex you're gonna get some poop on the bed. Cocks can take a beating. A clit is a lot more sensitive and you only need to stroke it very lightly. You don't have to mash it and push it round like in porn. A light touch will do wonders. Everything from kissing to intercourse and dating. Never got the how to get laid talk by any friends or older males. I wish they'd talked about the red flags, nice guys and rape. It's okay to have it. Women enjoy it too. Don't stick your D in crazy. More about the female body. I only learned the basics in high school, such as where the D is supposed to go and about menstruation etc. While the male body was extensively discussed. The result is that I know more of a D I don't have than of my own body. Only after becoming sexually active and researching stuff on the internet did I discover that the V actually expands with arousal. Before this I was like, how in the hell is that going to fit? And that the clitoris, which also gets hard with arousal, which I didn't know either, on the outside is but a small part of a whole organ that also envelops the V, and that bleeding by 6 is often because of the friction in the V by a lack of lubrication instead of stretching or ripping of the hymen. Educate girls about their bodies. Edit. Actually, I discussed my findings with friends and my mother. My mother and I are very comfortable talking about these things, and they were all surprised about what I discovered. Even my mother, who has been sexually active for like more than 40 years or so, didn't know how her own body worked precisely because these things aren't being taught and discussed. It's ridiculous. Get tested regularly. It's better to know you have STI so you can manage it than live in ignorance till it's a serious problem. We all have a kink. Talk about it. You can get a chick pregnant without actually putting it in. Thanks MRS Thompson. LGBT inclusive 6ed, and everything else in this thread. How to ask someone to start a relationship with you, sexual or otherwise. Wouldn't it have been great if someone had sat all of us down at some point and just explained how to say, hey, I'd like to date you in? Or that you don't start a relationship by sending a picture of your D and then harassing a woman if she doesn't respond? That arousal is a parasympathetic nervous system response. You have no control over it, and it does not mean you like or are attracted to somebody. It's an automated system to protect mucous membranes from damage. And most of all, getting hard wet is not consent ever. IT does not mean you want IT. If you ever felt to blame for something that happened to you because your body responded with arousal, I am here to tell you that you had no control over that at all. Abuse victims can even orgasm without any will too. Everyone should know this. Everyone. My school devoted almost all our 6ed classes to STIs, literally spent nearly 20x longer on STIs than everything else combined. I wish they'd gone over different sexualities more. We literally got told about straight and gay. Not even bisexual was discussed. Never mind things like asexuality or poly relationships or the like. I was worried for years because I have no interest in sex. I thought I was weird and tried to avoid the topic of sex for years in case someone caught on. It wasn't until my mid-20s that I heard about asexuality and grey ace preferences. And I just sat there and thought it. There are loads of us. Literally worried for a decade over nothing. Have as much if it protected as you can. Your sex drive will go down when you're older, naturally, but you'll miss the days when you could have sexed or masturbate multiple times in a day or even an hour. Even in a predominantly white, Jewish region, where virtually all men are circumcised, 6ed should still cover what uncircumcised Ds look like. That way, the first time you see one, you don't scream and run away only to realize you've overreacted, and now you're stranded, and it's 3 AM, and you're in Barcelona and you don't even speak Spanish. Jets. As a man, women's pleasure. Rub one out before you have sex so you last longer. Consent, protection and respect. Pain when the guy goes deep does not mean he's doing a good job. If it hurts, make him stop. Don't ignore it for the sake of the session or also breaking the mood. My school didn't have 6ed, so I was taught based on experience and porn. I've been decently educated about sex before diving into it, but nobody prepared me for the endless cycles of yeast infections and BV if you have a finicky veal pH. I don't do anything that could upset the balance, and no matter what I do, it appears soon after sex. It's the bane of my existence. No, it's not an STI, and I've been to countless gynecologists. They just shrugged and said that it'd be like this sometimes. Finding her clit with your tongue is the most reliable way to get her off. When taking off someone else's pants one-handed, zipper first, button second. Can't stress that enough. Edit. If you do the zipper first, it doesn't snag. It just glides right down. If you open the button, as you unzip the zipper sticks. That the best way to get off is to prolapse 12 feet of your colon out into a dump lasso for a fleshy, hemorrhoidal autoerotic asphyxiation session. Edit. Thanks for the cum gold. But please next time donate to your favorite no cum kill shelter or local cum bank. Enjoy and take time to understand each other's body. Don't just have sex to have sex. Take it slow and not rush into it. It will be good practice later on in life, both mentally and physically. You can get an STI in your throat from giving oral. It might just feel like an ordinary sore throat, but it won't go away on its own. Tell your partner when you decide to stop your birth control. Getting physical affects blood sugar levels. The pill can affect blood sugar too. My high school sex ed was pretty good, but nobody mentioned anything about diabetics and people with reactive hypoglycemia needing to take safety precautions and possibly avoid the pill. Not even my gynecologist. Who knows I've got reactive hypoglycemia? The first time I really made out with a guy, I had the scariest low I've ever experienced. All my limbs went numb, which is really bad, and the pill made my blood sugar almost unmanageable. 9.4% of the US population has diabetes. Sex ed should have included something about blood sugar safety, even just to have a snack before you start kissing, because you could go into a hypoglycemic coma and die would have been nice. Anal is nothing like it is in porn. There's some prep work that has to be done. The anus doesn't exactly expand like a V, but it can if you take your time with lots of foreplay, time and lube. If it ends up being a spontaneous thing, be prepared for poop to happen. Even with all the prep in the world, it can still happen if it does happen. Be cool about it. Remember, the person receiving is in a vulnerable position. Be an adult about it. With all that, it can be a great experience for both people if done right and with lots of communication. Blue balls. Seriously, Google it. Was religious growing up in an abstaining way, and good god somebody should have told me about blue balls, especially when masturbation is considered a sin, yet it's pretty much the only way to relieve oneself. Herpes simplex, that it's forever.